Yes.
Yes,
Are you the same
fine.
guy yesterday? Lakum min dinakum?
No, it's the first time I'm coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not him.
Okay, go ahead. We can't hear you.
Turn that
Okay,
down.
cool.
Just relax.
So,
You don't come put
and
the echo.
to the
Are you
topic.
talking?
Yes, can you hear me?
No,
Hello, hello.
you're like Washington.
Hello, 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 hello.
All right, go
All
ahead.
right, yeah,
Talk.
that's good.
So you can hear me?
Hold on, let me just say, Shred Genius, shut your pie hole, return to your vomit, get the hell out of here. Shut up. Go ahead, man. Sorry, man.
Okay. So the topic is Trinity, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Ahmed, if you say I can't insult, I'm following the son of your prophet who cursed people, insulted them, and murdered them. So, Ahmed, don't play the victim like the narcissist you are. Go ahead, brother. I'm just talking to these. Not you. Someone else.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the topic is Trinity, and the topic is to challenge it. So yeah, actually I have another question, but let's stick to the topic.
Okay, get to
Um,
the. Okay.
I guess my first question would be: do you have verses? Can you maybe reference me verses from the Bible, where Jesus states that he is not God?
He's not God or he's God?
He's not God.
What?
We believe he is God, brother. So
I don't know what you're telling me.
there are no verses that says
Yeah,
he's
what is
not
it?
God.
Yeah, what are you asking? I'm really confused.
Can I perhaps, because I came across some verses that I believe would um, ex- um,
Do you want some verses that say he is God?
Or not God, because I don't know what he's asking.
he's not God. Maybe can I reference some?
Yeah, give me one. I know what. Go ahead. We'll deal with them. Yeah. Go ahead. Give me one. I know you want to
Let's
check Google. He's
take,
gonna.
for example, John 14:28.
Oh, that one's beautiful. The Father is greater than I. I know you're doing Sheikh Google. Do you know the context? Bring up John 14.
No,
Have you read the context?
I mean,
Or you went to Sheikh Google.
I believe I did. Yes, read the context. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the context of John 14:28 as I answer?
Oh, the whole thing. No, maybe no. I don't know. I don't know the context actually. No.
Okay. Now let's read John 14:28. Now let's see. Can you see it on the screen or no?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta show it to him. Okay. Now.
Hold on, let me share this.
Yeah, let me share. You gotta share this. Yeah. Just let's go there. All right, John 14:28. You heard me say to you, I am going away and I will come to you. If you love me, you would have rejoiced because I'm going to the Father, for the Father is greater than I. Okay, so you're thinking that Jesus is saying he's not God because the Father is greater than him?
Yes.
Okay, well, you'd be wrong, and I'll explain why. And I'm going to show you from the context why you're wrong. But you have to be honest with me and answer. Is your boss greater than you?
Yes.
Say it again.
I mean, from authority, I guess.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, you answered it. So you just realized someone can be greater than you, either in authority or in nature. Now, are you greater than your dog?
Greater than my dog.
If you have a dog, are you greater than a dog?
In what sense?
Are you greater than a dog? Yes or no?
I mean, I guess different. It depends on what sense.
In the
I mean,
sense that in the eyes of your God, do you have more value than your dog, or you're less than a dog in the eyes of your God?
Oh, in that sense, yes.
Okay, so notice your boss is greater than you in authority, but not in nature,
Authority.
right? But you're greater than your dog in nature. Now, the question is Jesus saying, my Father is greater than I in nature or in authority? You don't need to guess because the chapter doesn't begin in John 14:28. Now, I'm going to show you what Jesus says. Now, isn't it true in Islam, in the Quran, according to the names of Allah, al-asma wa sifat, one of the 99 names of Allah is al-haq, the truth?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And you agree, if you're a Muslim, you cannot give the unique names and attributes of Allah to a creature that would be shirk. We agree?
Could you repeat that, please?
Okay. According to Sunni Islam, because I want to show you what Jesus says, you cannot give the names of Allah, the attributes of Allah, to a creature that would be shirk, right?
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, well, that's Islam. Because now we're going to go John 14:6. Now let's read context. We're going to read context. John 14:6. Jesus said to him, now watch. This is the same chapter. Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth, al-haq, and the life, al-hayat. According to the Old Testament and even the Quran, only God is the life, and He alone is the truth. This is why you'll never find anywhere in your Quran where anyone besides Allah is said to be the truth or the life. So here Jesus said, I am the truth and the life. Now, can you show me anywhere in your Quran or in the Old Testament a prophet saying, I am the truth and the life?
Probably could not.
You can't, because no prophet says it. So number one, Jesus just claimed the very qualities, names of God. I am the truth and the life. He didn't say, I will reveal the truth. No, I am the truth. I will point to life. No, I am the life. That's number one. Number two, you agree, because we have this in common, you are to pray to Allah, and Allah alone answers prayers, right?
Yes.
Okay, go to John 14, 13 or 14. John 14. Now watch here. This is Jesus, same chapter. Whatever you ask in my name, this I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. Jesus said, He'll be in heaven. You will then pray to Him in His authority, and He from heaven will answer your prayers. Can you show me a prophet? Show me a prophet that says, I will answer your prayers and I will do what you ask me.
No.
So if Jesus is a creature and He's just a man, why does He say, I am the life, I am the truth, and you pray to me, and I from heaven will answer all your prayers and do all the miracles, if He's a creature, when He knows these are things that only God can do?
I think I get your point, but
Okay, but let me give you one more, and then I'll let you ask your next question. John 14, 23. Okay, watch here. Now, Jesus says He's equal to the Father. Watch here. John 14, 23. Jesus answered him, if anyone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we, plural, I and the Father, will come to him and make our home. I and the Father will live with all believers at the same time. Now, can a creature say, whoever loves me and obeys me, I will live with all of them at the same time?
I didn't get that question correctly.
Say it again.
You didn't get the.
I didn't get the question correctly.
Can a creature, can Muhammad say, all of my ummah, if they love me, I will live with every one of them? Can Muhammad say that?
I will live.
Yeah, that's what it says. Live meaning He will be with you in your home and be with all Muslims at the same time.
I guess that was. I mean, you're talking about Muhammad. That was not his intention, but I guess the short answer is no.
Okay, but Jesus said, I and my Father, we live with every true believer, no matter how many, no matter where they're at. I am with all of them the same way the Father is. So that means He's claiming to be equal to the Father, that He has the same ability the Father has to be with all believers at the same time. Does this sound like He's a creature? Does it sound like He thinks He's equal to the Father? Be honest.
I get the interpretation now,
Okay.
how this can be understood as
Good.
him being equal. Still,
Now
I
give me
have
the
some
other verse.
problems with it.
So go ahead. If you have another verse, go ahead.
I mean, let's stick to this one because I still have some problems with it because in the beginning you mentioned. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah. What's the problem?
Okay. So in the beginning of your explanation, you mentioned Jesus being inferior in authority as the Father, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Would it
What's the problem?
imply that he has a different will?
No, it applies that He's not the same person.
Does not imply the different will then?
No, it applies that He's not the same person. Because you're confusing authority with will. Because if Jesus's will is contrary to the Father, then that means He wouldn't be in perfect union with the Father and do all that the Father tells Him to do. No, it only implies that He's not the same person as the Father.
Okay. Then let's me bring up another verse.
Yes, go with another verse. I like you. You're very honest. I like that. God guide you.
One I had saved. 1 second.
Chef Google.
Who?
He's looking at Google. It's okay. I don't mind.
Shade
Oh, it's not
Google.
Google. It's not.
I'm playing with you. Don't worry
Some
about it. It's okay.
some things I had saved.
Like we might have a oneness in here.
Okay, if you have an oneness, that's yeah. Even if you have a oneness, bring them up, man. I hope you're an anti-Trinitarian. Well, let's party on, brother. Not you.
What?
You're waiting. Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask.
Let me make sure it's this one. I had only noted the reference. I don't recall exactly what it was. This verse was about. 1 second. It was this
There's
one.
a fight night and Orthodox Easter. You still got 2,600, bro.
Glory to God.
Stick that in your pipe, David Wood. That's it. All right.
Oh, I think it was, yes, Matthew 36:39.
Now look at this genius over here, most excellent Theophilus. You want me to go into technical theology on miathelitism or monothelitism versus diathelitism with Muslims? You serious? You're a special kind of stupid. I'm not talking to you, Ahmed. I'm talking to this genius here who wants me to now discuss diathelitism and monothelitism where they're different in nature. You guys are special, huh? You Christians, varies. We're talking about basics to help the Muslims see the Trinity. Can you now talk about miaphysitism, difference with monophysitism and diaphysitism, or monothelitism? Go ahead.
So what's your question with Matthew 26:39?
He brought up Matthew 26:39. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the verse because these guys were just okay. What about it?
So I believe in this, and I think it's this kind of the same in Mark 14:36 and Luke.
Yeah, that's Matthew 26:39, where he prays to the Father, Abba, Father.
Exactly. And if I remember the context correctly, it's like moments before crucifixion, and
the night before he's betrayed. Yes.
And he sees that coming, and this verse seems to indicate that he would like it not to happen, but leaves it in the hands of the Father.
Okay, so what's the question? I know the verse, it's in front of me, but what is it? What's the question?
So this verse would indicate some, I mean, to me at least, different will.
Oh, I mean, no, not necessarily.
And what the Father wants.
No, not necessarily. I don't want to make it technical for you because this is advanced Christian. No, it actually shows that his will is not different from the Father because he says, not as I will, but as you will, because the Son's will is the Father's will. So you're misreading it.
Indeed, but then why is he asking them to
because he's not the same person as the Father. Yes, because no, you just read it. Read it carefully. Let's read it carefully. If it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. So he's even showing that if there's another way of salvation, let it be. However, my will is your will. So if there's no other way, then he will accept the cup. That's why in 42, what does it say? Read 42. Okay, watch here. I'm going to read it for you. Again, for the second time, he went away and prayed, my Father, if this cannot pass unless I drink it, your will be done. That's actually showing you that his will is the Father's will because that's what he does. So he's asking if it's within the will of the Father for this cup to pass away. If not, your will be done because the Son's will is the Father's will. He comes to do what the Father sends him to do.
Can this be interpreted as like I will bow down to whatever you want, but come on, man, please.
Yeah, but no,
let it not happen. Something like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you and me maybe, not him, because Christ himself says he cannot do a single thing on his own initiative. He only does what he sees the Father doing. John 5:19. So no, it can't be read that way because Jesus said it. The Son cannot do a single thing on his own initiative. He can only do what he sees the Father doing. That's John 5:19. But how does this deny his deity? Because even with that said, he has a human nature, and there are Christians who will say, because he has a human nature, he has a human will, not just a divine will. This is why I didn't want to get into the technical aspects of theology because that's advanced. Trying to keep it simple. All you're showing me is that he's not the Father. Okay, I'm a Trinitarian. I don't believe he's the Father. But you're not showing me he's not God. We believe he's man, who is God, and he's not the Father. So how does this show he's not God?
Well, the way I understand it, and thank you for giving, I guess, the Christian interpretation of that verse, which I wasn't aware of. The way I understand it is that, as I mentioned, there is different wills. The will of
Let's
the man.
go with it. Let's agree with you. Different wills means they're not the same person, but because they're inseparable, their wills never conflict. So how does this prove he's not God? I'm still waiting to see that.
I mean, they can never conflict for some reason. For example,
Never,
if
because
one will is dominant
why?
over the
Why
other,
can't they conflict?
because one bow under or over on one bow to the other.
No, because if Jesus is a mere creature, then creatures can be in conflict and oppose God's will, right?
I mean,
yes or no? You're telling me?
They can.
Okay, but Jesus says, John 5:19, I cannot do a single thing on my own initiative. I only do what the Father does. So you just proved he's no mere creature. That John 5:19, show it to him. So that's refuting you, not helping you. So how does this prove he's not God? I'm still waiting.
Get me confused a little bit here.
Here, let me ask the question. So can a creature say, whether Muhammad or Moses, I cannot do a single thing of my own will. I can only do what Allah does, and I do whatever Allah does. Can a creature say that?
Yes.
You're blaspheming, dude. You mean Muhammad says, I can do everything Allah does?
No.
Okay.
Ask me to, in that sense.
Well, let me repeat the question again. Can a creature say, I cannot do anything on my own initiative. I only do what Allah does, and I do whatever Allah does the way He does it. Can a creature say that?
In those exact words, no.
But that's what Jesus said in those exact words. Thank you. John 5:19. Thank you. John 5:19. So Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. Now watch. Whatever the Father does, that the Son does likewise. I only do what the Father does, and I do it like him. You just proved he's not a creature, mere creature. So what's your objection?
I mean, okay, I understand the
by the way,
logic behind it.
Okay, but you want me to show you that what Jesus does, according to this chapter, is what the Quran says only Allah does? You want me to show you that?
Could you repeat that?
Do you want me to show you from this chapter that Jesus does the things that even the Quran says only Allah does?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, but go ahead.
Okay, open up John 5:19 to 31. Just find, watch here. Now pay attention to what he does. Okay, watch here. I said 31, right? But it's okay. It was 30, but it's all right. That's fine. Watch here. So Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, that the Son does likewise. Now watch. For the Father loves the Son and shows him all that he himself is doing. And greater works than these he will show him, so that you may marvel. So now watch. What the Father does is something only God can do, and Jesus does it too. Look, for as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, so also the Son gives life to whom he will. Can you show me any prophet saying, just like Allah gives life, I too give life to whomever I want? Nope. Okay, now let's continue. For the Father judges no one, but has given all judgment to the Son. Now watch here. That all may honor the Son, just as they honor the Father. Can a prophet say, you are to honor me the same way you honor Allah? No, right? You're nodding your no. Good. But Jesus said, the Father demands you and all Muslims and all humans to give the Son the same honor they give to the Father. And the Son will be Malik Yawm ad-Din. He's saying, I am the one who's going to judge on the day of judgment. According to the Quran, Who comes to judge on the day of judgment?
I'm sorry, I was reading. I didn't get the question.
So according to the Quran, who comes to judge on the day of judgment?
Also Isa.
No, not in the Quran. When you
Oh
say
no, not in the judgment, but Allah. Yeah,
no, on the day of judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah, who judges? Who's Malik Yawm al-Din?
Allah. Yeah.
But Jesus says, I'm the one who's going to be judging. It's not the Father, it's me. The Father judges no one, but has given all judgment to the Son. So Jesus just claimed to be Malik Yawm al-Din. Can I go on a little further?
Give me 1 second.
Because I want to show you some other things he does.
Okay, I will just note it for later.
Okay.
I
Wait,
couldn't
wait,
really
hold on.
read well for you to while you were explaining.
We don't got to speak to what.
Hold on. No. Wait. I want to show you.
Yeah.
He's now going to say things that the Quran says only Allah does. Well, let me get there. So for the same time, go to verse 25. Watch. I want to now show you what Jesus says, the Quran says Allah does. Pay attention. Truly, truly, I say to you, an hour is coming. Remember that language. An hour is coming and is now here when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God. So you see, the dead are going to hear whose voice? Whose voice?
Here written the Son of God, yes.
The voice Son of God, right?
As written here, yes.
And those who hear will live. So who's going to raise the dead? The Son of God. How? By his voice. Now watch. 28 and 29. Why'd you jump?
Oh, shoot.
Astaghfirullah. Auzubillah.
I was ready.
28, 29. Watch. 28, 29. Do not marvel at this, for an hour is coming when all who are in the tombs will hear his voice. Notice, those in the graves will hear his voice. Highlight whose voice is in verse 25. So he sees it in verse 25. Okay, whose voice are they going to hear?
According to what you highlighted here, the Son of God.
And that, when are they going to hear it? At the hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hour is coming, right?
Yes.
And they will come out of the graves, right?
Yes.
Now watch the Quran, chapter 22, verses 6 to 7. Pay attention to what the Quran says. Chapter 22, verse 6 and verse 7. Watch here. I'll read it from.
That is because Allah, He is the truth. And because He gives life to the dead.
Quicken it, yes, that means that.
And it is He who is able to do all things.
Now, verse 7, watch.
And because the hour will come, there is no doubt thereof, and because Allah will raise those who are in the graves.
Wait, your Quran says Allah's the truth. Jesus said, I am the truth. Your Quran says Allah will raise the dead at the hour. Jesus says, no, I, the Son of God, will raise the dead at the hour. So could it be?
Why do you say no?
What?
Why do you say no?
What no?
You said Allah says this and Jesus says no, I do this. I mean,
what are you asking me? I don't know what you're asking me. I'm trying to show you that.
No, I understand, and thank you for that.
So do you admit, though? Hold on. Do you admit that Jesus is claiming to be God, the Son of God, because he claims the things that only God can do, according to even your Quran?
I'm not sure how I would.
Okay, hold on.
According to the Quran.
According to your Quran, who will resurrect the dead at the hour? A creature or God?
God, yes.
But in John 5, Jesus says, I, the Son of God, will resurrect the dead at the hour.
Indeed, yes.
So that means Jesus claiming to be a creature?
No. That's understanding. Yes, he's claiming to be God. I understand that.
Okay, then that's it. So then what's the argument, brother? You just admit that in my Bible, Jesus claimed to be God, but he's not the Father.
Woo! Yeah.
What's the argument?
Hallelujah. Woo!
But, let me see if I had other.
Yeah, Ahmed. Woo!
Ahmed, you understand? You just admit, yes, your Bible, Jesus claiming to be God in the flesh, even though he's not the Father. That's why we're Trinitarians. So, okay, so now you have one of two choices. You either accept what Jesus said, stop being a Muslim, or say, oh, well, you know what? Forget the Bible. It's corrupt. Because that's what Muslims usually say. And then we'll have a topic. See, you got it. You got it, man.
I mean, thank you for the explanation, because I have asked this question to many Christians before and couldn't find a logical answer.
Good. Yeah,
Um,
because not all
and
Christians are educated enough. Did you hear that, you Christians? He's asked other Christians these questions. They couldn't answer. So don't sit in judgment of us. Go learn the faith. But go ahead.
I guess, I mean, on the topic of Trinity, I don't have any other um, objections. But if I may, I'll have another question.
Okay, good. I'll take it because I want to help you. Hey, did
Um,
this low life garbage say I have a temper?
Who cares about
Yeah,
that?
I
That's
know.
a distraction.
Go to your vomit, you dog. No, yeah, we got dogs here. They think they're Christian, brother. It's okay. You know how you have fake, you have munafik. Okay, but go ahead.
I'll try to phrase it correctly. So I came to know your content not so long ago,
Yes.
and so how to put it? I don't really understand.
What?
So it seems to me like I mean, you talk a lot about Islam and in contrast to other religions, and compared to
You mean
Christianity.
me?
I mean, I guess I watch more of Godlogic's content than
Oh, yeah.
yours.
So that's just to you. He's asking you.
Uh,
Finally.
um,
Okay, if it's a
and
question to him, let me just go say hi to a friend of mine because the bathroom's calling me. So if it's you, I'll be right back. Go ahead. So if it's to him,
sure.
right?
Yeah. I guess
All right, let me
yeah,
go.
makes more sense since it's your content I've mostly watched.
Now I get the good mic. Thank you. All right, what's up, man? Yeah, we talk a lot about Islam here.
Yeah, and so from what I'm understanding of what you when you do those comparisons, if I may say so, about Islam and Christianity, you seem to say that you know Islam is like this completely different thing
Absolutely.
than Christianity,
Absolutely.
and I want to understand why you don't really think that for example, in Islam, we talk about the same thing, but just have maybe a different opinion on how to interpret it.
Well, so you don't talk about the same. Well, if we do talk about the same thing, we have completely opposite conclusions. You know. So, for example,
Okay.
we believe that Jesus is the divine Son of God, right?
Uh-huh.
But obviously, Islam is like absolutely not. He's not the Son of God. He's just a man. He's just a prophet. He's
Uh-huh.
merely a prophet.
Uh-huh.
So that's just one example of us
But
not.
that's what I mean by different interpretations.
No, that it's
Like,
not an
but
interpretation. No, it's not interpretation.
or
It's
conclusions, if you want to say use that word.
yes, yeah.
But
So it's like if we're saying Jesus is the Son of God, he said he's the Son of God. You know, is in Islam it teaches no, he's not the Son of God. Allah rejects that. Jesus denies it. So we're talking two completely different things here.
okay.
We have two different truth claims. You claim Jesus, it's true that he's not the Son of God. We claim it's true that he is. We said it's two differences.
Would you consider the God of the Torah being the same God as
Absolutely
like
not, in no way, shape, or form. Because here's another thing. Because the God of Islam says he's not a father in any sense, any way, shape, or form. But the God of the Torah,
it does though in a particular sense. I mean, it doesn't use the word father, but the word father has a sense. So
no,
we don't use it for like some reasons, but
you believe it. You
there is
believe
a
that
meaning.
you believe you can use it in some type of figurative or metaphorical sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that absolutely goes against Islam in all ways. Chapter 19, verse 93 of the Quran. Chapter 19, verse 93 of the Quran. Allah says, "There is none in the heavens or the earth that can come to the most beneficent except as a slave." So you can't even come to Allah
No.
figuratively
But
as a son.
no. That's not what I meant by father.
No,
I,
he cancels out any type of sense.
I don't think so. Maybe I can
Okay.
elaborate on one
All right.
sense that
Wait, so,
that would be
let's
valid.
break this down. If he says that there's no one can come to Allah
Mhm.
except as a slave.
Yes.
then can you come to Allah as a son in a metaphorical sense when he just said you can only come to him as a slave?
That's not what I'm talking about. Like when you hear me say father, you directly link it to son. That's not what I meant by that.
Well, that's what a father has sons.
Yeah.
You're not a father unless you have
Yeah,
sons.
yeah, but
In some
like
sense.
the interpretation I was getting to
Yeah,
by using the word
the
father
interpretation.
was in a more philosophical
Right.
point.
That's what I'm saying. Allah rejects any sense that you can see him as a father. Because if he's a father in a philosophical sense, in
Yeah,
some figurative
I
sense, then
agree.
you're a son.
I agree in the sense that we don't use that word. Yes,
No.
but
You no, because you're not understanding me.
mhm.
You think that the term father, even though you don't use it as a Muslim, you believe that it can still work for Allah in some sense, right?
Yes,
Okay, that's what we're addressing. You believe that it can work for Allah in some sense, even though you don't use it as Muslims, it doesn't go against Islam to call Allah father or see him as a father in some metaphorical, philosophical sense.
yes,
That's what you're saying.
yes.
And so, what I'm saying is that the Quran emphatically rejects that in any sense, whether it's metaphorically philosophical, whether it's literal, whether it's figurative, whether it's spiritual. He
The verse you
rejects
gave
it
me,
all.
Yeah.
I think perhaps if you let me elaborate on the specific
Okay.
sense,
I'm going to
I
help him with one verse. Okay. Chapter 5, verse 18 of the Quran. So you understand what he's saying.
understand what you mean. I
Okay. But
understand really.
understand why he's saying Allah won't accept him being your father spiritually, not physically. Because in chapter 5, in chapter 5, verse 18, the Jews and the Christians were saying to Muhammad, it's in Surah Al-Ma'idah, we are the children of Allah, his beloved. There was no Jew, no Christian who thought God was a physical being who had sex with a woman and gave birth to them. They meant he's our spiritual father. And the Quran says, no, you're not. He's not your spiritual father. You're just mortals he created. This is why he punishes you for your sin. So what he's trying to tell you is Allah doesn't want you to use that name at all. And he doesn't want you to call yourself his son in any sense. He just wants you as a slave. But in the God of the Bible, he says, no, I'm your father, you're my children. So how can they be the
Yeah.
same God? That's what he's
So
asking.
I understand. And that's what I meant when I use the word father. Please don't link it directly to children and son. That's not exactly what I mean by that. Um, like
You can't use it though. Friend, you can't even
if
call him
if you can
father.
let me elaborate, I can explain.
Okay, go ahead.
So, for example, in the Quran, I think Surah Al-Ikhlas is more or less the definition of what we consider to be God, right? Qul huwa ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, meaning there is only one, no one like him, has not begotten, and was not.
He wasn't
Yeah.
begotten, nor is he,
Lam
nor does he
yalad
beget.
wa lam
Exactly.
yulad. Lam yalad wa lam
Yeah,
yulad.
exactly. Now, if you take this, so in theory,
Open up
um,
6.
in theory, um, if the God you're talking about has these attributes, then we are more or less talking about the same God.
Well, thank you, because
You
Isaiah
know what I
9
mean?
6. Now I'm gonna what you said, stay with it. Isaiah 9 6, a prophet, wrote 700 years before Jesus was born, says that the true God does yelid. Here it is. Isaiah 9 6. He's going to show it to you. So you just admit it's not the same God. Here. For to us a child is born. You know what the Hebrew is? Yelid yulad. Yelid yulad. Because Hebrew and Arabic are sister languages. But notice who this yelid that was begotten is. Listen. For to us a child is born. Yelid yulad. To us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Allah El-Jabbar. The child born is Allah El-Jabbar. And this is in Isaiah, a prophet who wrote 700 years before Christ. So Isaiah says his God does Yelid and Yulad, but you just admit That's a characteristic that proves that your God cannot be his God. And he came before Muhammad. He got it.
You get the point?
I get the point, yeah.
Let me give you another verse. Psalm 2:7.
Yep.
Here's what God says. This is Old Testament before Jesus, okay? Psalm 2:7. Watch. Here, Dawood. This is Dawood. I will tell the decree of the Lord. The Lord said to me, you are my son, Bani. Today I've begotten you. Yelidtika. I have begotten you. You just admit if God has his characteristic, then he's not your God. The Old Testament says he has that characteristic. New Testament says it. So Allah of the Quran is not the God of David or the God revealed in Jesus. Game over, brother.
Okay. Let me ask this question then.
Let me know go to that oneness because he can come back. But go ahead, ask one more question.
Okay, that will be my last question. And thank you for the time.
Yes.
Didn't mean to take that much time.
We like people like you, Ahmed.
Yeah, I wish we could just spend the entire night with you, but there's others. But go ahead, ask one more.
So is your God the same God as Abraham?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And obviously the Jews as well and the Muslim as well. So,
not the Muslims.
No. Well,
yeah,
let me explain a little better. The Jews think, when I say the Jews, I'm talking about the rabbis. Not all Jews. We got to be careful. There's Jews who don't believe in God, and there are Jews who believe in Jesus. There are Jews who follow Jesus to this day. The rabbinic Jews, Orthodox Jews, think they're worshiping the God of the Old Testament. Jesus said to those Jews, you don't know that God, because if you knew that God, you'd believe in me.
Yep.
So as a Christian, when I look to the Orthodox Jews, I see their interpretation. They've added to the Old Testament, so they don't have the God of the Old Testament. They made up a God, and they think that God is the God of the Old Testament.
I didn't follow that completely, please.
Okay. According to Jesus, I'll show you. Open up John 8, and you're going to read 54 to 55. Watch here. Watch here. I'm going to show you what the Bible tells us. The rabbinic Jews, the Jews who reject Jesus, they don't have the real God. And who's saying it? Look, Jesus is talking to the Jews of his day, Jews who rejected him and hated him. Look what he says. John 8, 54, 55. Jesus answered, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say he's your God. But you have not known him. You don't know God. I know him. If I were to say that I do not know him, I would be a liar like you, but I do know him and I keep his word. So according to Jesus, there are Jews who think they have the God of the Old Testament, but they don't, because they made a God, fashioned a God that is different from the God of the Old Testament, even though they think it's the God of the Old Testament. Just like the Muslims have a God, Allah, whom they think is the God of Abraham, but he's not. So as a Christian,
that's what the Muslims say about the Christian as well.
Exactly. But we came before you, and Jesus fulfilled the Old Testament.
And
I mean, the Jews can say the same as you.
No, you didn't hear me.
Well.
No, you didn't hear me. Jesus fulfilled the Old Testament. You guys don't believe that. You say the Old Testament's changed because it doesn't agree with you. We don't say that. We say, no, Old Testament's not changed. Jesus fulfilled the Old Testament, and we agree with the Old Testament. Can you say I agree with the Old Testament?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with the Quran, so...
But I read the New Testament, but I still accept the Old Testament because they agree. Can you accept the Old Testament and say, yes, I accept the Old Testament as it is? It hasn't been changed?
I'll probably find some things I don't accept, yes.
No, you can't. You see, so you see the difference? I, as a Christian, can say, I believe the Old Testament. It's not been changed. That's why I defend it. And the New Testament, because I see New Testament, Old Testament agree. You, if you accept the Quran, you have to say the Bible's corrupt. So no, it's not the same. You come after Jesus and you contradict Jesus, and yet Jesus fulfills the Old Testament, And the Jews reject Jesus, which is why they changed the meaning of the Old Testament. Not the Old Testament. They changed the meaning.
I understand. I really enjoyed the discussion. I mean,
Come
would have
back.
been glad to follow it up, but I don't want to take much more of your time.
Yeah, come back. And maybe if there's more time, we'll bring you up because we have some. But come back during the week when he's live or me. Come back. We want to hear from you.
Yeah,
we love the
If
question.
time allows.
He's live every day. I'm live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. When you said you've seen the program before, so Mondays,
and you're live
Wednesdays,
tomorrow,
and Fridays.
And tomorrow, Godwin, because I'm in town. We're going to be live.
And we're live tomorrow too, together. So,
If God allows, I'm in a different time zone, so it might be that.
What time is it for you right now?
Now it's like 4:30 a.m.
Woo!
Oh, okay. Well, usually he goes earlier during the week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he's earlier, so you'll catch him.
Yeah.
But gotcha. Thank you.
All right, take care, Ahmed. Be blessed.
I think Isaac came back. He's the guy.